What would you do if, several million kilometers away from the Earth, you found a scary companion? You can't resist talking to him and becoming friends with him in no time. Is this a reflection of your own thoughts, or could something like this really exist somewhere? So let's begin our story of Jacob, who has traveled the universe for 189 days. He is having a dream of his first kiss with his wife Lenka, while he walks into the water in his spacesuit. Although it is a pretty awesome dream, he wakes up with a jerk. Maybe the loneliness is haunting him here, or it is due to some toilets malfunctioning. Peter is the communicator whose job it is to keep Jacob involved in conversations and let him enjoy the trip. Hence, he complains about the fixation toilet and some broken cameras. While he is required to go live on Earth to answer questions about this solo journey, he also appreciated the picture of the purple glittery cloud, which is named Chopra Cloud. Hence, a young girl asks about his loneliness, but he is blessed to get the chance to serve his country and wife. However, his wife has decided to leave him because of the emotional and physical absence of her husband. But the message reaches the Space Center before reaching Jacob. They hold the message before reaching out to him because they can't afford his disturbed mental health on the journey of the greatest discovery of the century. On the other hand, Lenka is so disappointed that she leaves his house and stops talking to him. This is making him insomniac, but Peter's sleeping drops help him get some sleep. However, he wakes up with a terrible dream where a living spider travels through the underlying sheet of skin. It crawls into his face and moves out through his throat. Luckily, it is just a weird dream, and he wakes up to the jittery voice of the bathroom pipe. Hence, another tragic day of disappointment and no contact with Lenka, but another interference blows up his mind. A random voice offers him help, but Peter considers it a glitch in the system. Although it doesn't sound like a glitch, it is proved the next morning when a huge spider-like creature astounds him. It is inside the vessel without any opening, but Jacob freaks out to see it. He bombards the biotechnical chemicals on the giant insect to kill it and lock himself behind the vessel. After a few minutes of immense torture, he steps outside to see the dead spider. But it is still alive, and the chemical doesn't affect him at all. Jacob locks himself in the airlock and asks Peter to contaminate the whole ship, but in vain. The giant spider is still breathing properly, but it tries to address Jacob calmly. It can speak the Earth's language and understand emotions. It is here after studying humans' lives and histories for ages. He has been studying Jacob until he is in the orbit of Jupiter. And now his loneliness has intrigued him so much that the spider breaks into the ship for an introduction. But Jacob is still scared and has visions of his wife. Although the spider feels at home and never leaves, Jacob has started accepting it in the vessel. But it is not allowed to cross some boundaries. The spider wants to sample some eggs, but Jacob offers hazelnut syrup. They start having curious conversations in which the spider explains that the grooves attacked their homeland. It kills its friends, family, and even ancestors. It is lost somewhere in space and then finds Jacob. Jacob's sponsor is worried about his separation from Lenka. Therefore, she visits her. She doesn't want to affect Jacob's mission at any cost. On the other hand, Jacob is seeing things with Lenka. The spider is probably putting these thoughts into his mind. But the spider allures him near the window to show him the Chopra Cloud. They are about to reach the purple cloud. The spider mesmerizes the beauty of this cloud. It calls him the beginning of everything. Jacob starts having visions of Lenka's first kiss and memorizes the beautiful moments spent with her. On the contrary, Lenka is badly missing her husband and is trying to find reasons for leaving him. But her mother motivates her to not make any bizarre decisions. Hence, the spider likes to have a name, so Jacob decides to call it Hannis. It is named after a scientist who had done things that no one could. Hannis also tries to dictate about his father, and it is revealed that he was a good man with some bad deeds. He wanted Jacob to raise pigs, but he ended up dying in a burning house. Jacob was interested in space science. In the meantime, the sponsor meets Lenka and encourages her to help her husband when he is in the dark and isolated. The sponsors play the recorded conversation of Lenka with him to encourage his active participation, but Jacob doesn't want that. He freaks out and tries to stop it because it is giving him the fear of losing Lenka forever. Suddenly, glittery purple dust floats in the vessel, signaling the beginning of the most awaited adventure. Jacob tries to capture it inside the jar, but it is not penetrable to any surface. It just keeps on floating and moving across the bars. The spider knows all about it. He tries to capture it in the toilet drainage pipe, but in vain. Jacob tries to connect to Peter, but every communication has been lost. The system has been malfunctioned, and he finds some more dust particles roaming around. He starts moving towards them and explores the magnificent, shiny crack in the purple cloud. He just gets scared, but Hannis encourages him to embrace the beauty of this crack. He compels him to not fear the purple cloud because it will not harm Jacob. Hannis admires the togetherness of welcoming the new beginning. They are expecting to enter the crack in 45 hours. Hannis asks Jacob a personal question about his incoming offspring. He wants to know about his past and what Lenka is willing to leave him. He mentions an earlier miscarriage of her wife, which starts swirling in front of his eyes. He starts having visions of her wife from when she was crying in pain from a miscarriage. She was all alone and Jacob didn't even bother to emotionally support her. He was always busy chasing his dreams and ignored her cries of help. He always left her wife when in need. Jacob wonders if these thoughts were created by Hannis, but actually these are his own guilt trips. These visions are from his own mind, but Hannis is just helping him to realize the truth. He also pulls himself back from the promises with Lenka. He also left her alone this time and didn't even care about the child. Hence, Jacob also regained communication with Peter by hacking the connecting system. They are amused to have him back and know the update about purple dust. However, the truth harms their friendship. As soon as Hannis realizes that Jacob's loneliness is self-inflicted, his wife was never at fault, and he deserves to be lonely. There, it decides to leave him alone on the ship again. He begs the only friend to be there, but it never listens and just leaves. Jacob tries to touch him, but Hannis strangles his throat and dares him to lay a finger on it. Jacob is sobbing in pain. He remembers the mesmerizing confession of love and their first kiss. Jacob is drowning again in fear and guilt, but he now realizes his mistake. He dials Peter and asks him to meet Lenka without wasting a moment. Peter takes the dialer to Lenka, and Jacob says all his heart. He apologizes for all his mistakes and cries in repentance. He gives up on his dreams and just wants to come back home. He also promises to do better on the second chance. He just wants to give another life to his wife and child. Lenka doesn't respond and leaves the dialer on the table. Hence, Hannis realizes that he is now guilty of what he has done in the past, so it comes back. It wakes him up from a weird dream. Jacob is pleased to have it back and asks to never leave. Hannis doesn't want to see the beginning alone. Hannis also reveals that Gromps never leaves. They are always here and can consume it any time. The Gromps are small bugs living inside their bodies. Reuniting makes them even closer, and Hannis hugs him tightly. They are ready to welcome the purple cloud soon. Lenka also realizes his husband's sacrifices for humanity. She has developed a soft spot in her heart. Therefore, she joins the live broadcast of Jacob from space. He has relaunched the broadcast of the purple cloud to embrace the world in the magnificent purple dust. Lenka also admires his discovery. They are like two lovers connected through stars. Jacob realizes the high-pitched breathing sounds of Hannis and realizes that it is in danger. Hence, he launches the dust accumulation project and spreads the umbrella in space. Peter is happy that they have beaten the Korean ship, which was following Jacob on the same mission. The whole world is admiring Jacob for his achievement, while he is worried about his friend. Hannis is filled with grief and immediately leaves the ship to fight its death alone. He follows his friend out and doesn't care about the project. Peter keeps on shouting at him to abort the mission and avoid moving out, but Jacob doesn't listen. He rushes to Hannis with a safety suit and bomba cylinder. He manages to throw them at him and rescue them from dying this time. They are finally inside the purple dust and see the mesmerizing phenomena together. Hannis shows him the beginning and end of everything. Inside the cloud, everything is starting and ending at the same time. Jacob realizes his birth, marriage, laughs, cries, his father's death, and his wife's miscarriage all together. Hence, it is the essence of life in a second. It gives you a glimpse of your whole life at once. It is the beauty and dread of nature, and this is how the world lives and how heartbreak feels. Everything that is permanent is in there, yet nothing ever is. This is the truth of everything happening in the world, and Jacob feels like drowning in fear. Hannis helps him to stabilize, and he realizes that this whole thing is only the moment when he met his miracle. Lenka was the only thing he wanted until now, but now he admires her companionship even more. The only dreadful thing is that she is not here with him. However, she embraces a grain of purple dust here on the ground, flickering by her side. Her eyes are blessed with the beginning of new life. The most dreadful event yet to happen is the death of Hannis. He can't survive beyond that. The gropers start eating it from everywhere. But before leaving, Jacob gives it a jar of hazelnut syrup. He says goodbye with the jar and disappears into the swirling world of purple clouds. Luckily, Jacob is saved by a sparkling light. They are the Koreans who wander here and find Jacob. He has been rescued finally, but he can't forgive what he has lost. Jacob feels dizziness but visualizes the same scene from the start of the movie where he finds Lenka on the bark of a tree. He compels her to kiss and Jacob faints with the same vision in his eyes. Hence, a few days later, he gets the chance to connect with Lenka, who is waiting for his call. She knows that he will come back for her and their baby. He now realizes that leaving the world behind is never an option. He likes to kiss his wife again.